Hello, this is Greg Pound with Building Strong Families. Our goal is to follow the example that our Creator has given to us, Yahweh, the Creator of heaven and earth, and through the power that's given to us through His Son, Yeshua, the Messiah, the Savior and Redeemer of the world. Now, my goal in this interview is the beginning of laying the foundation of building strong families. And I just want to just explain some things to you that all this will be laid out in the Word as time goes on. And this is the beginning of a new ministry for Greg Pound and family, with the goal to re-educate our society, our young people. And I'll try to explain that as I put this together. We'll start off with the fact that everything that our Creator has created is built upon families. Everything is built upon the premise of building families. Now, if you take a look at the demographics of the white population, it takes 2.11 fertility rate for a population to keep from going down to single digits, coming to zero. We in America now are at 1.8, Canada 1.8, all the European countries. There's 31 European countries of white people with a 1.38. So that means they're below a number that cannot be reversed. If you go below, I think it's 1.6, you cannot reverse that demographic number, because then you're at the point right now where you're spitting out. It's like, and so what we're at is we're under judgment. The people of America, the people of Europe, the Caucasian people, because of the evil that they have done. They don't see it. They just don't see it. When they take Easter and turn Easter into a time of a bunny rabbit laying eggs, they would rather teach their children a lie that bunny rabbits lay eggs than tell them the true story of Easter called Passover. Instead of teaching them what Christmas is, they'd rather teach them that Christmas is about Santa Claus coming on a sled and reindeers. Instead of teaching our children that Thanksgiving is an opportunity for us to remember all that our Creator did for us, is they tell them that they gave thanks to the Indians when it was established by Abraham Lincoln, who initiated it for one purpose, that we would thank God, not the Indians. And so what it is once you see the family situation, the Muslim families are 8.2 fertility rate. They are, and they're being blessed. If you go to Psalms 127, 128, and look at what it says, that Yahweh, the God of creation, gives to those who fear Him. To those who fear Him. He blesses them with children. The most valuable and precious things you're going to have is children. Now, our society has gone to a great extent and extremes to say that God is dead in America. They pushed it. They refuse to acknowledge the science of intelligent design that shows that everything's created. It's so complicated, there's no way in the world from studying anything from anything in this creation. But you will see the intelligence of the designer. And they refuse to acknowledge that. So the Creator is going to destroy. He's not going to, He is. And they don't see it, the white population on the planet Earth. The white people on the planet Earth, their remnant is almost down. I mean, they don't see it. They just don't see it. They've been blinded. You go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. It says, Satan, the god of this world, has blinded their eyes. And they're under judgment. Their families, their children, their culture, everything about them. And they don't realize that they're hated for the evil that they've done. For the 55 million babies that they've killed in their own country. For their prison industry, because they refuse to teach their children about what's right and what is wrong. So the whole purpose here is what I want to call the rebuilding the rebuilding of our families, the rebuilding of what's left. And it's not only for the white people. My goal is for, as I'm out preaching at different places, and the white people get upset. It's like this white guy this morning wanted to beat me up. I mean, he's, gets my face, profanity and all this other stuff. And it's, the issue is that when he asks me if I'm white, I tell him, once you're born again, God doesn't see color. God doesn't look on the color of a man's skin. I mean, he doesn't do that. He looks on the heart of a person. And it shows it all through the Bible. And I mean, I'm sure you can think of the example of when Samuel went to anoint King David, that he was judging by what he was seeing. And the Lord God said, I don't see as man sees, for I look on the heart of a man. So what we're dealing with now is our next generation. Our next generation, they're broken. They have been broken by broken families, by the selfishness of their fathers and their mothers. I've been dealing with married people now for over 20 years, and it's so sad because once they get stuck in this love of self, this narcissism, they end up being engulfed into something they can't pull themselves out of. Because there's only one way to get out of it, and it's called death to self, the cross. And as we say, the words of the cross are foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it's the very power of God. That's why our families aren't being saved. Because the parents refuse to get on the cross and die to themselves. They're so in love with self and what they want, instead of finding out what the Creator wants. The master plan, who created everything. He tells us how he wants us to live, how he wants us to raise our children. And it all leads to truth. And we have to remember the key to the knowledge of law is truth. And it never changes. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so we need to understand this as a people so we can teach our next generation. So when it comes to building strong families or saving the families that are left, we have one problem that's really being pushed on us. It's called sex. Now the word uses the word relations, but the world uses the word sex, and there is a difference. And what happens is that when a man has sex with a woman outside of marriage, what he does is he defiles that woman. Because in the male seed, in the sperm cell, and you find this in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4, where it says, marriage is honorable, the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God shall judge. We find that if you have sex outside of marriage, what you've done is you've defiled your relationship. And it needs to be acknowledged, it needs to be confessed. And usually that's the foundation, the sanctity of the marriage. Thou shalt not commit adultery. I mean, that's why we have the 10 Commandments to be our schoolmaster. Like, thou shalt not steal, everyone has property rights. Thou shalt not kill, everyone has a right to live. Thou shalt not commit adultery, the sanctity of marriage. It's a holy thing. It's something that's holy, set apart. You don't have sex with everybody, anybody. You have sex with one person. That's the person you're married to. And you're not supposed to get a divorce, period. But see, America has pushed their perversion. And it's just a real sad thing because the people have lost their morals. And it's just real sad. I mean, it's just a sad. I mean, I can go on. You can see it yourself. You just look around and you see how out of control people are. And so what we want to do is we want to build a new generation. My goal is to build the next generation of young people. And that is, they need to understand how damaging sex is outside of marriage, how degrading, and how it will destroy them as young people. And so that's the goal of this new ministry that you can follow on YouTube called Building Strong Families. And the email to this is buildingstrongfamilies8 @gmail.com. And if there's anything we can do to help you, and we're going to need, there's several things I'm going to need. I need a building here in Pinellas County. I'm going to need finances in order to push this. They say anything you do is like a wheelbarrow. You have to push it to get it to move. So this is going to need to be pushed. And I need people who can understand and see what I'm trying to say. And that's what my prayer is that the Creator, as you watch this, that you will see the sincerity of what the Lord's doing in my life and the need of it to be done in the lives of others. And so this is what I'm here for. My goal is to protect families, to build strong families. And my job is to work with the men, because the men are the ones who are going to either make the families or break it. And they need to understand that. And it's real simple. It's down to a science. So if there's anything I can do to help you, you email me at that website. And make sure you put a phone number there. And I'm going to put this up. I don't have a lot of time, and I don't want to go over. I've gone over. I've made several interviews, but the problem is that I have gone over my time, and it costs me. So we need to understand a couple things real quick to give you some things to think about. One, until the next interview, circumcision is a medical term. Circular means around, cision means a cut. When men are circumcised, blood comes around. That's a picture of the blood atonement of Jesus Christ redeeming the sin nature that's passed from one generation to the next through the male seed. In the male seed, in the sperm cell, Hebrews 13:4 said, marriage is honorable, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. The word there, bed, is the word male sperm. It says the male sperm outside of marriage defiles the woman. And it makes the man weak. It turns the man into the woman into the man. That's why we got this switching of the roles going on right now in our society. It's very evident to see. The men are becoming the women are becoming the men because they're having sex outside of marriage. We can turn this whole society back. We can go back to being strong. We can go back to being industrious. We can go back to families. We can go back, but it's going to have to go back by being a holy people again. Understanding the sanctity of marriage, the sanctity of holiness, and becoming a holy people. Not a people of the knowledge of God, but a holy people. So until we talk again, and I get my next interview up, this is Greg Pound, and you can reach me at Buildingstrongsfamilies8 gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. And spread this around. Make sure everyone you know sees this.